Hi guys, I'm here with your second Alice lesson on how to work with objects. In this lesson, I'm just gonna briefly explain on how to customize your objects, and then we're gonna spend the rest of the lesson talking about how to work with the poses. So, let's just X this out. Click on Add Objects right here. Add any object, most particularly, I'm gonna use a human so that you can see how the poses work. So, with people. Let's see. How about this guy? I like this guy. So, there's our guy. You saw how I dragged the object into the world view or scene view. Well, that's most recommended. That's how I recommend how you add an object. Because watch what happens if you just did this. So, bye-bye. Okay, so say you just clicked on it. Add instance to world, alright? It automatically puts it somewhere random. So if you want to work on like a specific area, well, I think it's better if you just drag it than having to add the instance to world, because you never know where it's going to be placed. So it's just better, more recommended. So when you have this object, you see these different buttons. So the mouse object, which I have right now, it moves it freely. So I can click on it and move it. So I can move it right here. Oh, where I find it? Oh, there it is. So just put it back. Move up and down. So it moves up and down, up and down. Let's put it back on the ground. Okay. Then turn left or right. You can turn it left or right, just like that. And it turns forward or backward. This is fun. This is really useful to make the arms or something, so it's really cool. Yeah. And then tumble, what tumble does is it basically rotates the object. See, you could go like this, you could go like this. So it looks like it goes forward and backward, but you can also turn around. I don't really recommend this because it can be a bit hard, and because of it being so loose. But if you just prefer doing it like that, it's fine. It's really no big deal. Resize objects, you can resize it. You move your mouse up and down, up and down. You don't go side to side, it's up and down. So actually I like it this way so we can see it. Yeah. And notice how I selected the object and it's highlighted over here. So if I click on the ground selected. Click the board selected. So just keep an eye on that. And then the last tool is the duplicate or copy tool or whatever. This will just copy it. So what you do is you click on the object and hold it and drag it. So hold and drag wherever you want. But if you just clicked on it, watch what happens. One just moves forward. Yeah, it might not seem like a big deal to you, but to me, it's just like, it can get really messy sometimes, so I just prefer dragging it. I really recommend it. So that's one way of customizing it. You can also change the view, quad view. I'm not sure how useful this can be, but if you like it like that. There are more controls, drop dummy on camera. We'll get into that later. Don't mess with that. So now we know how to customize the overall object. Oh yes, by the way, if you want to customize more of it, you just click on the object and it will give you a bunch of stuff right here. So you can change the color to pink. There you go, he turns pink, or if you want to make it more obvious, change it to green. And there you go, he looks like he's sick. And then if you want to make him into a ghost, you can change it to opacity. So that looks pretty cool. And vehicle, we'll get to that later. Filling style, you can do wireframe, pretty interesting. It's showing the false. And there's much more. So we know how to affect the overall object. Say you want it to wave. So what you do is you take one of the tools. Then you click on affect subparts, okay? By default, it might click on tumble. So you might want to always check what tool this is on when you click on affect subparts. So I want to use the forward and backwards. But say it's the arm is too far away to move forward, although it really isn't. Let's just say that. So we move the camera. So this is to go forward, backward, turn left, and turn right. No, up, down, side to side. And then we can use this to look down or up. So, you just go here, you move down. Now, the camera might seem a bit weird to you, but once you do more with it, you'll find that it's a bit useful. So, just hang with me there, alright? So make sure you have a direct shot at the arm, because it'll just automatically move forward at you. So, just go forward. And then, we'll turn it. Let's undo that. Let's try moving it forward a bit. And then we turn it. And there you go. So it kind of looks like he has a wave or something. But say you have a bunch of different poses. So you want to use this as a pose. So you just click here. Give a name, let's say wave pose. And also I recommend that you type pose at the end, or P or whatever, so that you can identify it as a pose. Because when you get more complicated coding, you'll see how useful the variant is, because you know it's a pose and not a method or anything else. You just enter, and there you go. So you have your wave pose. But say you have a bunch of different poses, so you're like, okay, I want this on right here, I want this on right there, leg. Oh, and then I want a super big head. Alright, so yeah. So you have that. Alright, capture pose, and we'll say big pose. There you got a big pose. But now you want to go back to normal. Like you want its normal head back or something, you say, okay, so was it this big? You know, I forgot. You know, so what we do, well, what you should do is you should create a stand pose at the beginning before you do any poses. So let's start over and see how easier it is. So here's our object. Here it is. Let's turn it around. And then yeah, so that is our little boy. So say you want to make the guy look like he's jumping. It probably already has a method for it to jump, but say you just want to do that. So just click on the boy, and then you make it bend its knees, move up its arms and everything. But then you want to go back to how it was by default. So before you do any poses, what you should really be doing is you click on it and make sure affect subparts is not selected, because this is where it gets, because then it'll only affect basically the subparts. So make sure you have boy selected, and this is unchecked. So then capture pose, you can say default pose, stand pose. I'm just gonna say stand pose. So there you go, you have your stand pose. Yeah. But you guys might be asking, okay, I created my stand pose, but like how do I get back to it once I create a bunch of crazy stuff? Well, let's create a bunch of crazy stuff first. Okay, so make that guy bigger. Okay, yeah, let's not resize objects. So let's just move. Oops, sorry. Just move this here, move that there, move that here, there, and then move its head up. Cool. And then we'll turn around its body. Oops. Why is it doing that? Well, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, I got a crazy guy right here. So, I captured the pose. We'll just say crazy pose. Crazy pose. Alright. And now, I want to go back to my stand pose because I want to do a different one. So, you just right click the object. Just methods. Set pose to stand pose. Oh, sorry, I think I didn't do this right, sorry. So click on boy, make sure this is unchecked when you work with poses. Set pose to stand pose. And there you go, he goes back to normal. So basically what you do is, you create, before you do anything, you create a stand pose. Make sure affect subparts is unchecked, make sure the boy is selected and all that. You know, and then when you create a new pose, make sure it's the same thing. Again, you uncheck affect subparts and boy is selected. I'm not sure if I unchecked this, but I probably didn't. But just make sure you uncheck it. So make sure it's the entire thing that's selected when you capture a pose. And then if you want to set back to the pose, you just right click, methods, and then the object name, set pose. Let me go back to crazy pose. Yeah, that's pretty cool, huh? Right click again, set pose to stand pose. So basically that's how you get to basically work with objects. And before we finish up, say you want to look at all these poses, you want to really see it, go to use, you want to see it in animation or see it in action. So just click done, and then you just take your loop, and this will make it loop how many times you want. One time, 2 times, 5 times, 10 times. I'm gonna do infinity times. And then we just drag our poses. Make sure the boy is selected, so make sure your boy is selected. Click on stand pose, drag it in. Crazy pose, drag it in. Click play. That's pretty funny. But say you want it to go really fast. So duration 0.5, duration 0.5. Make it go faster. So yeah, if you want to see your poses in action, just mess with this for now. We're gonna get more into the code in the next lesson, so we're gonna briefly talk about the code. It might take 2 parts, but I'm not even sure. So that is how you work with objects in Alice. If you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me a PM, and I'll try my best to respond. Don't forget to check out my blog and subscribe to my channel, please. And well, I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye.